Hello, 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 hello. YouTube. Man, guys, I hope everybody has been having a good day, having a good past week. If you're just now tuning into the channel for the first time, it's just I like to do these deck profile videos every once in a while, just of some fun decks that I've been enjoying. I try to play some really creative stuff sometimes that just really gets my interest back into the game fully. This is one that I have been jamming for quite some time now. I think I had built it and took it apart probably 2 or 3 times just because I couldn't really pin down a list. But recently, I've been messing around with this deck a lot, and I think I kind of found a list that I really enjoy. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This is not going to be a part of the budget series. But it will. I mean, it's relatively budget, so maybe it will. Who knows? I'll let you guys be the decider of that towards the end of the video. And there's definitely some stuff you can change up. But this, guys, will be Purple Steel Jafar. Purple Steel Jafar. Jafar is one of my favorite cards in the game. I know, I posted that Blurple Jafar list a while back that I'd gotten second place with. But I really. Purple Steel, being able to do the whole New World combo, I've always really enjoyed that. And this particular list is a very unique take on the traditional Jafar list. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. So for my 1-drops, I am rocking 4 Chernabog and 4 Diablo. So these are all draw power cards, and we'll talk a little bit more about this here in a little bit. And then I do play 1 Fire the Cannons. You play this because the old boy Diablo is quite the problem. The green Diablo, so you do have to have something in the deck that is a subtle out to that, or some more cards as well. But that's the immediate out for it for sure. As a one of, it's more of just a flex tool, honestly. Playing 3 Cinderella and 4 Little Jafar. So 3 Cinderella, this is just a cycle card. I wasn't playing this originally, but I actually really like this through testing, or in recent testing with the big Jafar. As you're doing your whole New World combo, it actually seems to kind of free things up a little bit. So card's been pretty cool. It's also really low cost for what it's worth, so immediate gain 1 lore essentially. Little Jafar, I think this is a given. I really like that this thing gains evasive on your turn. That's also an additional counter to the Diablos that can be problematic. But for what it's worth, I feel like you have to play the 2-drop Jafar. It's for the setup piece. This variation is a very, very detailed, has a very heavy combo line in it. So sometimes you may not even want to attack at all and still look to win. So you're not really looking for board control so much. I do play 2 Show Me More. So in initial testing, I really didn't like this card that much, but it is a game ender. It's a significant game ender as well. I have tested Lamp in the past. Lamp is good. I think you could play Lamp either over this if you wanted to. I'm not playing Genies in this deck. I personally, it doesn't line up with what this particular variation was trying to do. So for that reason, I opted to go with Show Me More instead of the Lamp. I played 4 of the medium Jafar, or the slightly older brother Jafar, the Challenger. I really like this one. Obviously, he's not a crab. Let's just be clear about that. But at the end of the day, he does actually, he gives benefit to your Diablos, makes your Chernabog have 4 attack, which I have found to be very a pivotal point of the game. Giving the Cinderella up to 4, or making the Cinderella 4 attack as well, also significant. So for what it's worth, the Jafar feels like he does enough in this particular deck. And once again, you're not really looking to challenge. He's more so just a body standing, so you can shift on top of him. For the draw power, of course, we were always playing 3 or 4 playset of friends. Additionally, I'll set these right here. 4 friends, this goes without saying. You draw 2 cards in a deck that wants to draw cards. I do play 4 Cobra. Cobra has been incredible in the deck. It's one of those cards where you set your opponent up. Maybe you do the 14 lore combo or one of the variations of the combo, and you find yourself just finishing off your opponent with a Cobra or two because you draw so many cards. So that card has been absolutely phenomenal. Now this is where the deck gets pretty unique, or certainly different. And this is definitely my little flair, my favorite part. So I'm playing 1 Flotsam and 3 Jetsam, and then the Shift package. These cards actually are really strong for what it's worth. I mean, this is a 2/4, gains Challenger +2, gives your other Flotsams, or the opposite of it, all of them Challenger +2 as well. But this is the only package, or the only Flotsam Jetsams that we're playing in the deck. And then this card says whenever he is banished in a challenge, he goes back to your hand. So he's kind of infinitely recurring. He is uninkable. That's the only reason why I'm playing one of them. These aren't cards that you're just absolutely have to see, but there is a really unique combo line with the deck that I'll show you here in just a moment. After that, we're playing 4 of the slightly older brother Jafar and 1 of the Snake. So really like this one because he quests for 2, has a huge butt on him, and then Snake Jafar is nice for some flexibility plays. I've debated a lot about taking, or I just recently added this one back in, but he's not necessary at all. Playing 3 Finders Keepers. This is just another refill card for your hand, or it's a finisher after you do a whole new world. Just another draw outlet, and it's inkable. So that card could definitely be a 4-up for you in the deck. I have played it for prior as well. 4 Miss Bianca. So this is where the deck really starts to tie together at. So the deck is predominantly allies. That is why I play specifically these 1-drops. This is an ally. These are all allies as well. So I was playing Mr. Smee originally because he was an ally. But I think that you play enough overall that the Smee is not necessarily like game changing for you. So I think that Cinderella is perfectly fine in that regard, and Bianca has been solid. Because you play the Shift line and the Biancas, I do play 2 Grab Your Sword. I would almost bump this up to 3 just because it's so flexible in the deck. But your main goal in the deck isn't to wipe your opponent's board or to try and control your opponent. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, your main goal is that you want to win via Jafar and Whole New World. In case you guys don't know what this does, or you guys just tuning in, just kind of learning about the game or a fun deck, Jafar says whenever this card is exerted, for every time you draw a card, you gain 7. So this is one of the few major combo decks in the game, or in Lorcana. But essentially, if you shift this out on top of a little Jafar, and you can Whole New World, turn it sideways, draw 7, gain 7 lore. So, with that being said, I can try to leave this out for a second. You guys can get some screenshots. I'll make sure that I try to get a Dreamborn link up in the description as well, just so you guys can have the actual list. But just to talk on this real quick about what the deck does, or what the deck's line sort of is. Let's just kind of show you guys what the goal of the deck is to do. So if you're in, perfect scenario, sure, you're gonna go turn 1, ink 1, play the Chernabog. Then turn 2, ink 1, play Jafar. Turn 3, it doesn't matter if this is Chernabog or Diablo, it does matter that this is Jafar. Turn 3, you'll play a Jetsam. Turn 4, you'll play an ally. So at this point, the Chernabog really doesn't matter anymore. This is more so just something you keep up so that you're going to have the ally for sure. Of course, this is an ally as well. Like I said, being a Diablo or a Chernabog really does not matter. Price of tea in China. Just good practice to make sure starting with a 1-drop or mulliganing for the 1-drop. But generally speaking, so this will draw you an additional card as well, which will be good after you have inked and played on curve for the first 4 turns. This really isn't that crazy either, guys, at the end of the day. I mean, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. You're drawing, an additional 4 to 5 cards over the course of these 5 turns. and that's not including if you play any actual draw cards in through those beginning turns as well. Now, with that being said, all crazy combos take a little bit of luck, and we all know this. So, let's say you crack the Chernobog and you have an additional card. I've done the math for this plenty of times. It does work out accordingly to how many cards you have here, or to how many cards you would start off with in your opening hand, and then to what you're trying to play out to. So, going into your turn 5. So remember, this is turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on your turn 5, your play is just going to be shift into Jafar, whole new world, and then this begins the sequence. So from this point forward, all you need to draw, or your remaining draws to essentially get an OTK from 0. So you're attempting to win from 0, is you want to draw some sequencing of these 4 cards over the course of the next hand or two. So you play your first whole new world, you'll gain 7, or you'll draw 7 cards. Let's say it's these random 5 cards, and 2 of them happen to be these 2. So you're going to discard 2, shift the Jetsam Flotsam, and then you're going to activate another whole new world. And then at that point, you're only trying to draw your 3rd whole new world, so you can use the last 6 drop to be able to sing another one. And at that point, you have drawn 21 cards off of 3 whole new worlds, which is 21 lore off of the Jafar. So that is a turn 5 win if you line that up appropriately. This is, like I said, guys, it's definitely a fun deck. I'm not saying it's the most competitive in the world, but it does have its caveats. I played it at the Sunday event at the 2K at the last Charlie's, and I think I started off like X1 up until round 4, and around 4 or 5, and ended up losing in, I want to say, round 5, if I'm not mistaken, my second match, which was actually extremely close. For what it's worth, this deck does really, really well against red-blue. I think it has a handful of very, very favored matchups that just can't deal with it at all. You being able to gain 14 lore kind of burst consistently. The deck consistently can do 14 lore. The 21 lore is obviously pretty lucky. But with all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Build it, enjoy it for yourself. It's a really incredibly fun deck to play. I'm not saying Jetsam floats in as tier 0, but who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe I just need to play the deck a little bit more. Have a good one. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks.